guys and girls, Hurricane Liz here, and today I'm going to answer the biggest question that all you guys have been asking in the comments, and that question is, how do I properly do keyword research? I'm not showing up for anything I put in my listings, Liz. I put all the keywords, all the top keywords that all the gurus are saying, and I still cannot show up in the Amazon rankings. Well, I'm here to tell you that the reason for that is you're probably doing one very simple thing wrong. So today I'm going to show you how you go about and optimizing your listing in order to show up at least somewhere, anywhere, right? Because as long as we show up anywhere, the odds that we sell are much higher than not showing up for anything at all. So I'm going to show you how to do that, and another special trick that I use to almost always guarantee that I show up where I want to show up at some point. So let's go ahead and get started and jump straight in. All right, guys and girls, so we are here on my desktop, and what I'm going to show you is how I go about the process of doing keyword research, and it's pretty simple. But I think I'm gonna have to divide this video up into two parts. So let's go ahead and talk about the first part. Now, the first part is usually the most extensive, the one that takes the most amount of work, and the one that really doesn't matter. And the reason that I'm saying that, and the reason that I'm saying that doesn't matter, is it really doesn't. The point of phase one is to gather as many keywords as possible and figure out which keywords we're gonna actually use in the mix. Now, I want you to remember there are a couple of pieces of the puzzle. First and foremost is the title, right? We want to stick as many keywords as we can in the title, but still make it readable. The second part is the subtitle. And now the subtitle is where we actually want to stick more of the words. Because remember, in the title, the words have to be shown and visible on the cover. And then the final piece, and the third piece that we need to worry about, is the back-end keywords. Now, what we're going to do with the back-end keywords is try to shove all the other keywords that we possibly can in the 7 slots. There's no reason to limit one keyword per line. You will never show up for a damn thing. So what you really got to do is stuff the back end and try to make as many combinations as possible. So let's talk about how we start all that out with just gathering a gigantic list. And again, I'm going to show you how to do this the free way, and then I'm going to show you how to do this the paid way, which is a lot easier. But for those of us that don't have the means to pay for this, we have to start it out the right way, which is the free way. So let me show you how we're going to do that. But most importantly, all you're going to need is one column on a spreadsheet that pretty much just says keywords. You don't really know anything else about these keywords as you're gathering them up. And so here's a couple things that I like to use. First and foremost, if we go into Amazon, and let's just say, for example, that we are creating a dragon coloring book, right? We'll go in there and put dragon coloring and see what pops up here. Get this extension. It is free. It is called Amazon Suggestion Expander, or AMZ Suggestion Expander. And basically all you do is you type a keyword in right here and it starts spitting out all these additional keywords. And the way it works is really by, as you type, it's going to assume the next actual word that would come up based on popularity on Amazon, as well as like first letter of the next word. So for example, if somebody types in dragon, right now some of the most sought after words with dragon in it are dragon shield sleeves, which I have no freaking idea what these are, but it looks like they're wrappers or something that goes around cards and people that collect dragon cards. And let's keep looking, and after Dragon Shield sleeves is Dragon Shield, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Master Slides and series, and so forth. But we're not dealing with any of that. We're dealing with the Dragon Coloring Book. So I will put Dragon Coloring and see what happens. Now here's Dragon Coloring Book with Prime, Dragon Coloring Book for adults, and so forth. So I would literally, if I did not have the means to collect these a paid way, I would go and basically enter all these in my actual spreadsheet one by one. So Dragon Coloring Book, and I would keep going and moving on down until I collected every single word that pops up with that particular tool. Now the second way that I like to do this is through a tool called keyword.io. And keyword.io is also free, and you should register for the free version because you will get a pretty decent amount of data. All I did here is basically put Amazon. I selected Amazon right here, and then I put the keyword Dragon Coloring Book, and then I hit search in USA English, and here's what happens. It spit back out these 14 different words. So all I've got to do is I can export these out, download these as a selection as a text file, or copy selection to actual clipboard. And now all I have to do is come back here and paste those things right there. And now I've got all these keywords that are potentially pretty good keywords for me to actually use. Now, those are the first two that I use. There is also an extension called Keywords Everywhere, which has a free version, but they also have a paid version. And I will say this much. I paid $10 to have this, and I've had credits for about 6 months now. They still haven't gone away, and it was all just $10. And all I basically do here is I go in here and I edit these keywords and I enter all these keywords. So I can very well just grab this list of keywords, grab all these, copy them, and then shove them in this keyword Chrome extension. So you will have to download the Chrome extension. You will have to connect it to an API to get the key, and then you will have to load it with credits, which, like I said before, I loaded it with $10 credits. I still have had it for 6 months. So once I do everything, I've got the Chrome extension loaded up here. I open the Chrome extension, I paste the words here, and I hit Get Metrics. What it's going to go out there and do is it's going to spit back the actual search volume. And now, don't quote me if I'm wrong here, but this search volume is coming from Google, which is fine, right? However, if we don't have a paid tool, we can use this search volume to guesstimate that it's very close to what Amazon would be. So again, it spits out those metrics for us, and it does it very cheaply. So even if you have very low means, you can use this tool instead of having to pay for an Amazon tool. So all I would do, grab all these words, grab the search volume, and start putting the search volume here in column 2. So there is a way to export this and make it easier. All we have to do is hit Excel or copy or CSV and grab these numbers and put them. So like 330 goes in drag and coloring. I'm just gonna pretend like I did that and all the search volume are now here. So the fantastic thing about this tool is you would potentially use it last just so you could get all the search volume and you have an idea of which actual word is more popular than other words, right? And then lastly, what you can also do is you could put a results column here to actually have somebody go back in there, check the results, or maybe you can even do it. Now, I would never do that because to go through each and every single one of these to check the results is going to take forever. So you might still be wondering, Liz, what the hell are you talking about with results? I have no idea what you're saying. Well, it's simple enough. All I have to do is hit drag and coloring, hit enter, and spell it right? I gotta stop spelling like an idiot. And now it says that there's over 2,000 results. Now, you will remember from a previous video that sometimes Amazon changes up the number of results that display for you. So they could be totally head faking me right here and there could be 20,000 results. But for now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to trust that 2,000 number and I'm going to put 2,000 and keep going down and adding more and more keywords. And that is the third way that you can actually collect these keywords. But most importantly, it is the actual way that you will use to guesstimate the search volume, which is what we will use ultimately to determine which keywords we go for and which keywords we do not go for. Now, contrary to popular belief, we will not always use the highest search volume keywords. And the reason for that is that if we were to actually do that, chances are that we never show up for anything. And that is the single biggest problem that I see most of you guys making, is you go for the highest and most competitive keywords when the reality is, if you're going to go for those keywords, you're going to need to do some external advertising in order to make yourself show up. Because if not, you're just going to end up being buried in the clutter of books that are coming out every single day. So most importantly, you want to pick a pretty good mix of keywords, and I'm going to show you how to do that in the second video. But now let's go to the fourth and final way to gather keywords, which is an actual paid way, but it's my favorite way. And trust me when I say this, I've tried almost every paid Amazon tool out there. But the only reason that I hang on to the one that I'm about to show you is because their paid keyword search tool is probably the best out there. Now, I don't use any other tool that's available with this actual tool. I like Helium 10 much better than it, but their paid keyword search tool is the best. And you can choose to use Helium 10. That is definitely a possibility, but I'm just going to show you my favorite and I'll show you and explain why. So I'm going to jump into Viral Launch by, that's actually Market Intelligence by Viral Launch, and I'm going to log in.
The next day.
All right, so days later, I finally got into Market Intelligence, and here's what happened, right? So again, this is my favorite tool to check keywords, and now I'm not saying anything about Helium 10 being bad. I just prefer to use this because I appreciate their data, at least with keyword research, but I like Helium 10 in other regards. So I'm just going to show you guys what I actually do. So I'm going to go here to keyword research and I'm going to hit search. And all I'm basically going to do is put my main keyword. So in this case, I think it's dragon coloring book. And now while a lot of people might disagree and say like that's too general a term, the whole point is to have a root keyword. That way Market Intelligence goes and does what it does best, which is grabs me all the actual other relevant keywords that it feels could relate to my actual listing. So you can see all in all, they come up with 103 results, 73 unique keywords, and combined estimated search volume of 28,126. And there's a couple interesting columns here. So priority score means this just basically is like prioritizing this keyword. It should be prioritized versus is it relevant or not? Like 9 to 12 doesn't encompass all children, but I do know there's some children that are older than 18, so keep that in mind. So volume estimate means it's less than 200. That just pretty much means it doesn't know what the hell's going on. And in another video, I will cover all about search volume and why it's very misleading. And most people, despite the fact that they go by it like it's the freaking Bible, are just delusional when they do that. So I'll show you how to actually look and see if something's more relevant. But I will say this much, it does cost you money. Search volume trends, I don't pay attention to that. Opportunity score, I do like to look at that, and sometimes I like to sort by that because according to market intelligence, those with the higher number in the opportunity score means it's a better opportunity for you. So I do take note of those, particularly when it comes to pay-per-click advertising. And Helium 10 has their own kind of metric that's similar. I think it's IQ, Cerebro IQ score. So here comes the most tedious part of this entire process, and the part that'll probably take you hours and hours. It's going to be more boring than watching paint dry, because at least when you sit there and watch paint dry, you can also see YouTube, right? But here's what we got to do. And this is one thing that I don't like about market intelligence. So what I typically will do is download this information, right? Because if I can't, then I have to kind of scroll over in order for it to tell me in that black little block what the actual keyword is. And I'm going to have to go through here one by one and start selecting what keywords I really feel are relevant to this actual book. And again, go back to my actual spreadsheet and lump them all in there. So I would grab whatever I thought was relevant, or I would download it and be able to browse through it quickly in a CSV file. Because at the end of the day, again, our goal is to get as many filled in here as possible. The thing that I like about market intelligence, and it's expensive, I will say that much, is the fact that it'll tell you the actual volume estimate. If you don't have access to be able to use it, then use something like keyword.io, which will give you some of the actual values. So you got to go with one or the other. So I would go through here one by one and say like, all right, is this a good term for my actual product, right? And I would keep going here, coloring book with dragons, and I would mark off all these, right? And then what I end up doing is copying them to clipboard and coming back over here and then just pasting them here. I would end up coming over here and copying these results, and I would pick unique words. I can also do phrase and volume, so I'm going to do that. And then we're going to go over here and we're going to paste it. And there it is. It's got them. It didn't separate them, but there is an Excel function that I'll look up after I do this video as to how to separate it, because the volume here is 200, the volume here is 737, but it lumped them all into one. So basically I would do that and have the search volume in the second thing. And now I've got this really huge list of keywords that I feel are relevant. And now comes the most important part, which I will cover in the next video. But that was market intelligence. I will look at Helium 10 briefly and show you guys how it's pretty much the same. Okay, so I'm in Helium 10, and what we're going to use for this is we're going to actually use Cerebro. So I'm going to go here and click Cerebro. And the point is that you're going to need to grab a competitor. So I'm going to go over into Amazon, and I'm just going to search Dragon Coloring Book. And I want to see what comes up. I think I like the one from Jade Summer because I feel like Jade Summer's books always do extremely well. And if they do extremely well, then they must have some sort of strategy that works well. So I'm not seeing it right now pop up. Here it is right here. So I'm going to grab the ASIN on this one. And all I'm going to do is go back over into Cerebro and pop it in here and hit Get Keywords. And it says we searched this, but we want a brand new search because it might be some fresh data. And it's going to go out and grab these words. And you're going to see that a lot of the columns and the data are the same thing that we looked at earlier with market intelligence. We've got the phrases themselves, the IQ score, which is similar to what we saw in market intelligence as the opportunity score, the search volume, the sponsored ASINs, if there's any, the competing products, and this is the number of results, which we also talked about in another video, can be misleading, and Amazon always tricks us. And then the amount of giveaways that you would have to do in a given period of 8 days in order to rank on page 1 or try to rank for this actual product. And then lastly is this organic rank, meaning where the Jade Summer book ranks for that particular keyword term. And again, like I said, if you don't have access to market intelligence or Helium 10, you're going to have to do this the old-fashioned way with keyword.io and the Chrome extensions I showed you. But this just helps you shave a lot of time off the front. You're still going to have to go through each and every one of these keywords individually to put them on your list to make sure that they're relevant. I just wouldn't grab all of them and then throw them in there because you are limited with the total number of back-end search slots. So now I've got my huge list, and while this wouldn't be it by any means, my list would be longer than Rapunzel's hair when the prince is trying to save her out of the castle. That shit is long, it's unnecessary, and the next time we're gonna go into how we filter through all that crap to really get the true gems out of here and to show up for actual keywords in the Amazon search engine. So if you have any questions or comments, post them below. Like I said, I always personally answer them, and I'll see you guys in the next video.